This man surely needs no introduction. Oh, all right then, I'll give you an introduction. Okay. He's 77 now. Is this wizard, Welsh wizard of the drums, Christopher Slade, Chris, to his mates. And he's done so much work. You know, he's an incredibly reliable and incredibly good rock drummer. And he's not just a rock drummer. He's worked with Tom Jones. He's worked with Manfred Mann's Earth Band. He's worked with Asia on their fantastic Silent Nation album. Isn't that an album that's just overlooked, do you not think? I need to cover that, don't I? Because it's just a great album, I believe. Just before they got back, you know, after John Payne went, well, it was the last album with him, wasn't it? And then they got the band back together in a way, didn't they? He's also worked with Uriah Heep, Gary Newman. He's worked with a Gary Newman album. This is a great jobbing drummer. Takes jobs for drums, and he's really reliable and excellent, clearly. And I really wish that this tash would curl a little more than it is. It's not doing, is it? It's not behaving today. One tends to curl a lot more than this one. And I've got some tash wax on it as well. Anyway, back to Chris Slade, who's marvellous. You'll know him best. There's the album look. Anyway, you'll know him best, of course, from the periods 1989 to 1994, when he played with AC/DC, replacing Phil Rudd. Phil Rudd came back. He replaced Phil Rudd again, if I remember rightly, and he played on The Razor's Edge. Thunder. Thunder. It's a lot better than that, obviously. Yeah, I failed my audition to replace Bon Scott. You know, I don't know why. Anyway, he's rock royalty, actually. Rock royalty. And he's had a project, his Timeline project, before. He's had it out before. Probably, I think, 2012, 2014. And he said, well, it's probably best for me, as people have been asking me to do that, to write some more songs. So he has. This is the Timescape album, and as you can see from this, there are two albums here. One album is the Timescape album itself. The other album, CD2, will be some covers, some of which you'll be quite familiar with. Let me have a look at that. Let me show you that. Look, you can see Hell's Bells there. Look, if I check, yes. Danda! Yeah, that'll be in there, won't it? So I'll be talking about that in a bit, but this album has Stevie G on vocals. I'm just checking out the credits to make sure I get this right. And also Paul Bun Davis. Great seasoned rock and classic rock vocal. And what you'd expect from this album, look, here's Chris in situ. Playing away, look at that. Very nice, beautiful. What you'd expect from this album is some driving hard rock, wouldn't you? No. Let me first of all tell you about the covers, because they're all right. They're faithful, you know. Thunderstruck is what you'd expect. It sounds like AC/DC. It sounds like the first, like the track. It sounds like it. You've got a cover of Hell's Bells, which is just, it's a bit tepid, actually, to be honest. Big Gun, he does a version of ding ding and that film's great as well, that it's on the soundtrack to. Last Action Hero, folks. You must have a look at that album, that film. You must have a look at it, particularly for Charles Dance. My word. Anyway, it's good to hear it here. The riff is a bit buried. The drums are a bit dead, actually, which is a bit of a surprise considering that this gentleman is a skin pounder. You know, he's a drummer, so you'd expect it to be, but no. High Voltage is all right. It's got more groove, actually, a lot more groove. So, putting that aside, putting this side of the album, this one, to bed, because it's all right. It's got a version of Blinded by the Light, as you might expect, which is incredibly faithful, and the song itself is just so fantastic that you just love to hear it, don't you? Well, one does. I do. I love to hear it, so that's great. But the album itself, the new stuff, the timeline stuff, it's called Timescape, this album. If I hadn't said, there it is, there's the proof. Timescape, woo, Timescape. Is just not what you would expect. And that is something that I am always really in awe of and love, because when people book tradition or book expectation or say, I like other kinds of music and I feel that I can give you other kinds of music, so I'm going to actually. I don't feel stymied by what the people might think or what sales might say or what record companies might say. What record company is this? Yeah, it's not a huge record company expectation for this. Fans will love it. Of course they will. It's Chris Slade, folks. So he's also in The Firm, by the way. He was in The Firm. Remember, with Jimmy the Page and Paul the Rogers. Fantastic. And I have to. Who was it? Was it Franklin on bass? I have to have a look at those albums. Only two of them. I always remember thinking this is going to be great, and then I remember thinking this at the time, and then listening to them and thinking it's all right. I still think that way, actually, but maybe I'll revisit them and see what we think. Maybe on this medium. You never know. Anyway, back to this album, which is just, well, it's got all sorts of stuff in it. I'm going to refer to my notes as well, so you might see my eyes darting around a bit. The first track is Sundance, which tells us it's coming. Let them know you're coming. It tells them it's coming. It's a big 70s organ-infused thing. It's a bit Uriah Heep. The organ popping mightily. Yeah, it really does. It's got a very 70s rock chorus, very open, but big. The guitar solo suddenly rears up to say, oi, I'm here. Let me just tell you who, let me get this right, who's on. It's James Cornford on guitars. And really, he puts in a fantastic shift here. It's rather good as a starter. But then we've got We Will Survive, which is, it's kind of proggy. It's florid. It's quite dramatic. It's got a very florid vocal. It's got a likeable chorus. And then a little guitar breakdown, which is so sweet. You want to hear it again. You think, I love spending time with that. Very nice. It is massive, because we then segue into a 70s synth solo. It's lovely. But then you've got Joybringer, which is like a mini Bernie Marsden time and Mel Galley time of Whitesnake. It's like a mini. It's like when Whitesnake could be on Top of the Pops. It's that feel. There's a sweet 80s synth solo. There's a little bit of Planet's work in there. Mr. Holtz, he's mentioned, and there is a little bit of. I thought, what's this from? Oh yeah, I know. I had to go and have a look on the credits actually. Yeah. But I had to, but there you go. And it's lovely to spend time with. But we don't just get that. There's some yacht rock here, folks. Just let that sink in. Yacht rock. Yeah, and that will be Living the Dream, which comes from a cappella to that lovely, easy yacht rock feel. You're on the beach or overlooking the beach from your patio, sipping a mojito, or some kind of coffee-based drink, or a fruit juice-based drink if you don't want to drink a mojito, and you're watching the surf crash against the rocks. It's that sort of thing. Or people playing volleyball, that sort of thing. You think, I don't really want to do that. I've done enough for that myself. Back with a vengeance, though. After we have Freedom Song, which is almost gospel. It's almost a gospel offer. You've got vocals from Bun Davis, a little bit Udo, actually, just a little bit. It's simple. It's got a simple driving rock theme. Certainly around the guitars, a 6-string offer. This is Back with a Vengeance, and it is. It really is. There's good martial drumming. There's good fight sounds in the background. Some sci-fi synths. It's really quite dramatic, and it is a little bit Uriah Heep again. We also get a kind of electric piano and a bit of an anodyne ballad. It's called Questions. The question I have is, why put it on here? But then it does offer somebody a different kind of... Some people will love it, and it offers them a different option, doesn't it? We've also got a bit of musical theatre. That will be Time Flies. It's got narrative drama in it. It opens up to a big musical theatre chorus. It's got a massive guitar solo. It's the kind of thing you could see from the back of the Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, as the whole chorus had their chest puffed out and they were singing it. All of that. It's massive. A lot of this is massive when it wants to be. When it doesn't, it brings you and draws you in. We finish with End of Eternity, which is really just a big guitar workout. I mean, the drums are a bit dead, actually. It's a bit dead, to be honest. It's got some big female harmonies. That's about all. But really, what more could you want? It's chock full of goodness, this. And okay, we've got the stuff that you'd expect. We've got Thunderstruck and all of that, We've got all that. We've got Blinded by the Light and all that's on there. But his own stuff is so different. It's an absolute delight to hear so many different kinds of music. And you know what? It really is a great discography and travel log of his musical work, because it's not just about AC/DC. And it's not even just about those souped up blues bands, like The Firm, you could say. And it's not even about almost prog working with Asia. It's about working with Jones the Voice. And it's about working with Gary Newman. And it's about subsuming all that music and having the influence and having the balls, because he's got nothing to prove now, of course, to say, I want to give all of that. Not just some of it, absolutely all of it. Good God, it's great. Ta-ta.